All right, coming up on today's episode of Four Verts, are the San Francisco 49ers about to make a huge mistake by paying Brock Purdy? We're going to get you caught up on the latest, and I'll give my thoughts on that situation. And coming up soon as well, we got a Q&A episode. We've never done a mailbag here on Four Verts, so if you have NFL or college football questions, that's fine as well. Fire them in the comments right now, and we'll answer as many of them as we can. The better questions get on the show. Questions about your team, trade ideas, whatever it is, fire in those questions, and we'll get them answered on a video coming up in the next few days. All right, let's talk about Brock Purdy. Is he in line to get a mega extension very, very soon? Certainly a lot of NFL insiders have reported that things are sitting in a good spot. The expectation is that the 49ers will pay Brock Purdy this offseason and make him one of the highest paid quarterbacks. Now, will they reset the market with him? I would guess probably not, but he's probably going to end up being a top 4 or 5 paid quarterback in terms of an annual basis in the NFL. Now, the guarantees are obviously a big deal in it, so, I'm not going to sit here and say, if you pay him 50, it's the worst deal of all time if only like 2 years are guaranteed, but I have a problem stomaching that idea of making Brock Purdy a top 5 highest paid quarterback in the league. Experts and insiders expect $50+ million per year, which again, if the guarantees are lower and you can get out of it after 2 years, if it's like a 4-year deal, like, okay, the guarantees and the cap hits are really what matter. But I think at some point, one of these teams is going to have to draw a line in the sand and say, listen, we really like you as a player. You're a very good quarterback. But just because teams X, Y, and Z overpaid for their 13th best quarterback in the league doesn't mean we're going to do it with you. I would not give Brock Purdy top QB money right now. Obviously, I wouldn't reset the market with him, but I wouldn't even give him like what Trevor Lawrence got or Tua got. Not because he's not better than them, but because those teams made mistakes. Like, that's the bottom line, especially when you don't have to. It's not like Brock Purdy, this is March of next year, and his contract's up, and it's like, well, are you going to tag him? Are you going to re-sign him? Are you going to tag and trade him? Like, what are you going to do? Like, you have a year to work with. Let's just let this play out. And I think last year, I don't think is necessarily more of who he is, but I do think it's enough evidence to say, let's hit the pause button a little bit. You look at his first 2 years, first year and a half, I should say, because he took over about week 9, week 10, whatever it was, his rookie year when Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt, and he was fantastic through that 2023 season when they went all the way to the Super Bowl. Completion percentage almost 70, a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, almost 10 yards per attempt, QB rating of 112. Like, raw statistics, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And then last year, still good, right? I mean, it wasn't bad. 66%, almost a 2-to-1 TD interception ratio, so not as high volume of touchdowns. Interceptions crept up a little bit. Yard per attempt down, but 8.5 isn't a bad number by any means. And 96 is still a good QB rating. Like, that's a good starting NFL quarterback. But that is a notable decline from years 1.5 to 3, right? So let's kind of explore that. Like, why did that happen? Is it just an outlier? Is it a sign of things to come? Were the first 2 years kind of more of an outlier, and now teams have more film on this guy? Like, I think there's a lot of reasons you could point to and kind of guesstimate. But in the end, and I think when we get to the end of this, is I don't think we'll have a clear enough answer, which is why I would probably just wait this year out unless he's willing to take a team-friendly deal. Okay, Purdy's down year. Injuries piled up around him. And, you can look at that one of two ways. You could say, well, that's a lot to deal with for a young player, even though he had already started for the year and a half before. Brandon Aiyuk missed the last 10 games. Trent Williams missed 7 games, played in just 10. Christian McCaffrey missed basically the entire season. I think that's the most notable one, and I think it kind of showed last year that, yeah, Brock Purdy's good, but this is still a run-first offense, and Christian McCaffrey makes this thing go. Pearsall, obviously, with the gunshot wound situation, missed 6 games. Jordan Mason missed 5 games, so they were down to like RBs 3 and 4 for chunks of the season. And I think it's, again, you can look at it both ways. His play fell notably without stars. And on one hand, you could say, well, yeah, duh. If you take Randy Moss away from Dante Culpepper probably isn't going to be as good. Not that the 49ers had a Randy Moss, but it's harder to play with less weapons. We all know that. But the great ones elevate the talent they have at their disposal. Maybe their play will dip a little bit, right? Like Patrick Mahomes the last couple of years is a good example. From a raw statistics standpoint, yeah, he was not put up the numbers that he was with Tyreek Hill. But in terms of finding ways to win, making the right play at the right time, he was still able to do that with guys like Juju, Sky Moore, and just kind of randos that they were bringing in, along with a aging Travis Kelce. Not that any one of you guys would claim Brock Purdy as Patrick Mahomes, but if you're going to pay him like Patrick Mahomes, he should at least be sort of in the ballpark, and I'm not really convinced that he is. Now Deebo Samuel's off the team, right? So he's gone. Brandon Aiyuk's coming off a major injury. Sure, you just extended George Kittle, who's coming off a big year and is still very good, but he's 32. Trent Williams is your only elite offensive lineman. He's 37 years old. It's one of those things where it sounds like they're going to pay Brock Purdy, but it's like we haven't seen Brock Purdy for an extended period of time where he's the high-paid star and he doesn't have as many stars around him. Oh, wait, we saw it for a little bit last year due to injuries, and he didn't play nearly as well. So are you just ready to write close to a blank check there? I think that's tough because the reality is when you pay a quarterback top money, you're not going to have the same level of supporting cast. Now, they've committed to George Kittle. For now, Aiyuk is there, although they've tried to move him as well. So he still is going to have pieces. Shanahan obviously makes things easier as well. But there's a very real possibility that Brock Purdy, if he's there for the next 5 years, will not play on a team as talented as the 22 and 23 49ers. Like, that's almost a guarantee, I would say. So what does that mean? That means he has to continue to ascend, and he has to be a primary reason that they're winning, not just, hey, he's a really good distributor and they have all these playmakers, which, again, not his fault, but we saw last year when guys went down, he wasn't able to consistently elevate the guys around him this past season. Okay, more on Purdy here in a second, and listen, the draft's over, free agency's slowing down, but we're still going to drop videos every single day here on 4 Verts. Once we get closer to the college football season, we'll mix in some college football as well. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and we are so close to 10,000 subs on the channel. Let's get there as soon as possible. Okay, number 2, and this was an area Brock Purdy really excelled in, and I think having the big-time weapons really helped, allowed him to take more chances, but the big-time throws were down in terms of completing them. He still took chances last year, and that actually led to an increase in turnovers. But you look at the past 2 years, big-time throws per PFF, 2 years ago, 27. Last year, 15. Like 12 less, that's a notable number. And look, it's kind of an antiquated stat. Like PFF, they have a definition for it, but it's kind of one of those stats where you know it when you see it, like, whoa, that was big time. He threaded the needle between the linebacker and the safety, and that's something Purdy's consistently been good at, is like layering the football to that second level of a defense. But last year, he didn't do it as consistently in terms of completing those passes. He missed them, and he actually threw some more interceptions in those situations as well, and that leads us to this one. One thing that Brock Purdy could really hang his hat on early in his career is that, yeah, he'll take a chance here and there and trust his guys, but he takes care of the football at a high rate while throwing a lot of touchdowns, right? Like, he's a high floor, maybe not a Mahomes, Allen ceiling player, but like relatively high, medium ceiling, but high floor. Like, he's not going to make mistakes. High IQ player. Multiple times down the stretch last year, in big spots, got to have it, he's turning the ball over. And he's making decisions where you're like, Brock, what are you doing? And it kind of goes back to that Shanahan stat that has gone on forever. And whether it's a Shanahan stat, a Purdy stat, or a Garoppolo stat, whatever the case may be, is that they're a front-running team. They are not built to come from behind. Why? Because they want to run the football, play with the lead, and kind of just physically wear you down. Well, last year, they weren't wearing people down. They didn't have Christian McCaffrey. Jordan Mason missed some time. Purdy wasn't playing as well. So they found themselves in these situations where they're down a score in the fourth quarter a lot, and often he's not delivering. Now, that doesn't mean he can't in the future. He wasn't in those situations a lot earlier in his career, but when we saw him in them last year, it did not go that well. So what's the rush? This is not the bash Brock Purdy episode. This is the let's not make the same mistake that Jacksonville made last year. I mean, the Jacksonville one is so egregious. They paid Trevor Lawrence after 3 years, a.k.a. as soon as you possibly can, when he was a first-round pick, and you have 5 years of team control with the fifth-year option. Like, that was insane, and they still did it. And 1 year into that extension, that looks like a disaster. Tua, they still had the fifth-year option. They could have played that out. I don't think Miami's feeling great about that. He's a concussion away from potentially not playing again, and regardless of his injuries, we know he's got a ceiling there. Like, just because these other teams made these decisions to pay the Tuas, the Trevor Lawrences, the Jordan Loves. Jordan Love has half a good season of really good ball, and the Packers just make him the highest paid quarterback at the time. Like, that's borderline insane behavior. Brock Purdy and his camp, they're going to push for that money, and they should. You know why? Because he's more accomplished than Tua, Trevor, and Jordan Love. From a winning standpoint and a consistency standpoint, even though he had a down year last year, you add up his career versus theirs, you would probably take what he's done, what over they have done. But again, just because those teams did that doesn't mean you should do it as well. To me, you only pay top dollar when it is clear, cut, dry. Hey, this is a top 5 guy. Micah Parsons, we're paying you. Like, that's why Dallas finds themselves in trouble, because they slow play these deals and they just end up paying more anyway. And it's like, what are you going to do? Not pay CeeDee Lamb? you going to not pay Micah Parsons? They still haven't. They're going to. But now it's going to probably cost more than Myles Garrett because they waited too long. Justin Jefferson. But Brandon Aiyuk, it's like, 49ers probably messed that one up. They probably should have traded him. Good player, but is he a bona fide top 5 guy worth that money? Probably not. Brock Purdy, I think if everything's going right, he's a top 8, 10 quarterback. But last year, he probably played more like the 12th to 15th, which, again, is a good player that you should pay some money to. But the NFL and these teams have got to figure out a way, what is a B-level quarterback worth? Like Geno Smith, why can't you pay Brock Purdy 10% more than what Geno got from the Raiders? What did he get, 40, 42 or something? If I was the Niners, I would give him, and he got 85 guaranteed. I'd say here's 4 for 130 with 95 million guaranteed. Take it or leave it. That is more than fair. That is more. And if you won't take it, say, okay, we're playing this year out. We're not paying you 55 million a year with 180 million guaranteed. It's bad business unless you have Josh Allen, unless you have Patrick Mahomes, unless you have Lamar Jackson. And even those teams have to pick and choose how they build their roster around those players because they eat up so much money. So, if I was the Niners, I would not go down this route. I would play this year out. I would offer him, the Daniel Jones contract from a couple years ago, few more guarantees and per years in dollars due to the rising cap, and say, here's our offer. Take it or leave it. You're under contract. If you leave it, we'll play this year out. Don't forget, Jimmy Garoppolo led the 49ers to a Super Bowl. Do I think he at that time is better than Brock Purdy now? No, I don't. But Kyle Shanahan can make it work with serviceable starting quarterbacks. Now, I don't think Mac Jones is that, but if things go south this year, they could find a free agent next year. They could draft a quarterback in the second round if they wanted to and be solid. Now, would it be a downgrade from Purdy? Probably, but Purdy's not on such a pedestal that you just let him dictate. I just would not do that if I was the 49ers. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Sounds like they're going to pay him, but I think it's you're playing a dangerous game if you pay a quarterback who's very good and talented but has limitations, and in cold weather and rainy conditions, we saw last year they were in a snow game. He could barely grip the ball. I don't know. You have to have a lot go right to win a Super Bowl with him. And again, they got to a Super Bowl with him, but is he ever going to be on a team as good as that again, especially once he gets paid? That's going to be tough to think that is going to be the case. Okay, should the 49ers pay Brock Purdy $50+ million per year, or just wait? No rush. That's what I would do. Type P for pay or W for wait. You guys know where I stand. Let us know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed today's show, hit that subscribe button. We got more content to come throughout the NFL offseason, so stay tuned.